A nation can survive its fools, and even the ambitious. But it cannot survive treason from within. An enemy at the gates is less formidable, for he is known and carries his banner openly. But the traitor moves amongst those within the gate freely, his sly whispers rustling through all the alleys, heard in the very halls of government itself. 6 mistakes mankind keeps making century after century, believing that personal gain is made by crushing others, worrying about things that cannot be changed or corrected, insisting that a thing is impossible because we cannot accomplish it, refusing to set aside trivial preferences, neglecting development and refinement of the mind, attempting to compel others to believe and live as we do. Do not blame Caesar, blame the people of Rome who have so enthusiastically acclaimed and adored him and rejoiced in their loss of freedom and danced in his path and gave him triumphal processions. Blame the people who hail him when he speaks in the forum of the new, wonderful good society which shall now be Rome, interpreted to mean more money, more ease, more security, more living fatly at the expense of the industrious. When a government becomes powerful it is destructive, extravagant and violent. It is an usurer which takes bread from innocent mouths and deprives honorable men of their substance, for votes with which to perpetuate itself. Though liberty is established by law, we must be vigilant, for liberty to enslave us is always present under that very liberty. Our Constitution speaks of the general welfare of the people. Under that phrase all sorts of excesses can be employed by lusting tyrants to make us bondsmen. Poor is the nation that has no heroes, but poorer still is the nation that having heroes, fails to remember and honor them. A nation can survive its fools, even the ambitious. But it cannot survive treason from within, for the traitor appears not to be a traitor, he rots the soul of a nation, he infects the body politic so that it can no longer resist. There exists a law, not written down anywhere but inborn in our hearts, a law which comes to us not by training or custom or reading but by derivation and absorption and adoption from nature itself, a law which has come to us not from theory but from practice, not by instruction but by natural intuition. I refer to the law which lays it down that, if our lives are endangered by plots or violence or armed robbers or enemies, any and every method of protecting ourselves is morally right. To be ignorant of what occurred before you were born is to remain always a child. For what is the worth of human life, unless it is woven into the life of our ancestors by the records of history? The budget should be balanced, the treasury refilled, public debt reduced, the arrogance of officialdom tempered and controlled, and the assistance to foreign lands curtailed, lest Rome become bankrupt. People don't know the value of what they have until it is gone, freedom suppressed and again regained bites with keener fangs than freedom never endangered. Liberty is rendered even more precious by the recollection of servitude. Don't wait till freedom is gone before you enjoy, value, support, protect and make the most of it. Times are bad. Children no longer obey their parents, and everyone is writing a book. Nothing is more unreliable than the populace, nothing more obscure than human intentions, nothing more deceptive than the whole electoral system. Silence is one of the great arts of conversation. It is not by muscle, speed, or physical dexterity that great things are achieved, but by reflection, force of character, and judgment. Friendship improves happiness and abates misery, by the doubling of our joy and the dividing of our grief. Read at every weight, read at all hours, read within leisure, read in times of labor, read as one goes in, read as one goeth out. The task of the educated mind is simply put, read to lead. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all the others. For there is but one essential justice which cements society, and one law which establishes this justice. This law is right reason, which is the true rule of all commandments and prohibitions. Whoever neglects this law, whether written or unwritten, is necessarily unjust and wicked. But if the will of the people, the decrees of the Senate, the adjudications of magistrates, were sufficient to establish rights, then it might become right to rob, right to commit adultery, right to substitute forged wills, if such conduct were sanctioned by the votes or decrees of the multitude. But if the opinions and suffrages of foolish men had sufficient weight to outbalance the nature of things, then why should they not determine among them, that what is essentially bad and pernicious should henceforth pass for good and beneficial? Or why, since law can make right out of injustice, should it not also be able to change evil into good?